So here's what's likely to happen in the UK and the USA especially. Donald Trump and his vice president are going to go more extreme to the conservative, toxic far right. They are in still democracy mode. They will still democracy by any means, whether that means staging a shooting, killing a patsy shooter, and killing one bystander. And now the Trump cult, believes God or gods or angels saved him. And they basically want to get in bed with BRICS. They want to sit with Russia, China, and India at the top dictatorship conservative table. And that's why Project 2025 overlapped what would have been Donald Trump's second term, 2020 to 2024. As we all know, he lost that term, and he also filed his 6th of January 2020 treasonous coup. He should have no legs to stand on legally, morally, ethically. He should not be allowed to stand as president. He shouldn't be allowed to hold political office or any businesses in any countries that want to respect democracy. So if you want a dictatorship because you're spiteful to the gays or the trans or the Black Lives Matter supporters, vote Trump then. You will end up with a dictatorship that will join India, China, and Russia, and they will join BRICS, and they will cream and rape minerals from Africa and Brazil. If you want that dictatorship where basically Trump will hand over Ukraine to Russia, that's how he's going to end the war, to hand it over to Russia by saying, I'm not going to support NATO anymore. I'm not going to supply weapons, even if you buy the weapons from the USA. If you want all the Gaza people to die, then vote Trump, because he will give the Greater Israel project its aims to take parts of Iraq, part of Afghanistan, part of Egypt. If you want more blood on our soul and our hands, then vote rapey Trump. Bankrupt several times, big crook. You only have to ask one of his family members, his niece, I believe, who is a clinical psychologist anyway, but the signs and symptoms are all there. He's a narcissistic personality disorder sufferer who has never been diagnosed, or has been diagnosed and refused to accept that he is very extreme in his ideologies, thoughts, and foundations. If you don't want abortions and all of that, and you want slave labour, and you want no living wages, and you want no free healthcare, and you want tax breaks for billionaires so one day they can become moon trillionaires or space trillionaires, then vote for your biased, bigotry, rapey, corrupt, friends with paedophiles, Jeffrey Epstein, and also wants to shag his own daughter. I mean, if that's where your morals lie, then vote in rapey Trump. Basically, it's not just an American election. Boris Johnson and Donald Trump will try and hand over Taiwan, Ukraine, and Gaza, and they will try and overthrow the Labour government if they can, with the help of Donald Trump if he wins, or he wins his second coup, because he set the seeding for that. Oh my God, they've stolen the election again. Joe Biden tried to kill me. The Secret Service tried to kill me. No, that was Project 2025, Project BRICS, Project Rupert Murdoch kind of people. Project I need a stunt because my numbers are tanking, and I need a stunt. I need to look like a hero. I need to look like God saved me, and he left no scar on my ear whatsoever from that plexiglass that was the size of I've seen a bigger pea, as in peas. I've seen bigger peas. This was a tiny fragment of plexiglass. And suddenly now everyone thinks he was saved by God and angels. And then we're going to bring church and state back into school. Well, you never meant to have church and state back into school. Religion is not meant to rule the world. And we don't have the best democracy in the world. But it sure ain't meant to be religion. If you want Donald Trump to get fatter and more corrupt with his mates and people like Rupert Murdoch and Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all of that, if you want them to all get fat, because that tax, that is your stolen wages, which could be a living wage, it's your stolen holiday pay, it's your stolen sick pay, it's your stolen bereavement pay, it's all of this stuff. Could build hospitals, could build roads. A billionaire will always be hungry. You could give them $1 trillion and their ego would still be hungry for more corruption. You cannot feed or fill a void in. Unfortunately, if you don't know this, most CEOs, not all, and no one's done a big study on it, and most politicians, and especially if they lean conservative, far right, extreme, they're more likely to be a sociopath, psychopath, or a narcissistic personality disorder sufferer. And you will find them in all political wings of parties. But they lean more right. They lean more Tory. They lean more dictatorship. They lean more Zionism. Because the average psychopath doesn't want you to have hospitals that is funded by collective taxes. It doesn't want you to have a living wage. It talks about all this. It does nothing. 2020 to 2024 was the final phase of secretly joining BRICS. And it was meant to be the USA conservative dictatorship and the UK conservative dictatorship under cult leaders Boris Johnson and Donald Trump. What got in the way? Well, Donald Trump lost his second term. COVID locked down the world, delayed Ukraine, delayed Gaza, delayed Taiwan tensions. China, India, and Russia and the conservative elites have been told that if they do not join BRICS by 2025, then China, India, and Russia are happy to go to war over the EU trade deals, the transatlantic trade deals, the euro, the pound, and the USA dollar and the USA petrol dollar. They're happy to do that. It was a small warning in 2014 in Ukraine saying, look, we're not bluffing. They won't be doing nuclear war because that kills everyone. They might do traditional World War III, which we've entered. You've just all been too asleep to notice. And my advice again to Keir Starmer is clean MI5, MI6, the heads of the military, the Navy, the Air Force, Met Police, clean them. They are loyal to conservatism, the royal family, and conservative elites and Zionist elites. Because Boris Johnson, Theresa May, Priti Patel, Sula Braverman, Sajid Javid, they reshaped MI5, MI6, the Met Police, the military, the RAF, and the Navy years ago. David Cameron calls the EU election because he's petrified of Boris Johnson. This is why he put his willy, I believe, as a young teenager, he put his willy on the pig, because that's how petrified David Cameron is of Boris Johnson. And so he called the EU referendum, and he said he was going to stay even if we left, but he fled. Then he put on a lot of weight, and then he had to lose it when he became a lord. Wake up, people.